Hey guys, I'm MG, and today we'll be looking at The Invisible Man, which is a 1933 American science fiction horror film that was directed by James Whale, who directed Frankenstein, and written by R.C. Sheriff. This film is also based on the 1897 novel by H.G. Wells, which features Claude Rains as the titular character. However, we're not here to talk about titular characters. Actually, that's exactly what we're doing, since we're going to be talking about the Invisible Man himself. But anyways, enough chit-chat. Why don't we start reviewing this film right now? I'm going to be honest with you. This is probably one of the most rewatchable old movies that was ever made, and I'm not even joking. Yes, it has some flaws. I find most of the characters kind of weak. Kemp is an incredibly one-note character, with nothing really going for his character, outside of being a fake sidekick to Dr. Jack Griffin, which is pretty predictable that Kemp will betray Griffin, and they didn't really add anything to the story as well. I like their scenes together, but I think that just has to do with the mystery of what will happen to Kemp, and that's not because we actually care about Kemp, it's because the Invisible Man is a flaming monster, and I'm always interested into seeing what he will do next. So yeah, Kemp isn't really an engaging character, but his death scene was really cool, so I'll give him that. Dr. Cranley was really pointless, who didn't do anything in this film, and he never even meets Griffin, which robs his purpose in the film entirely. And he only serves to tell his daughter and Kemp about Jack Griffin, and how he has gone mad with monocaine. Herbert Hall was really bland, and his wife Jenny Hall was really annoying. She screams all the time, and Una O'Connor is overacting so much that it's just unbearable to hear. The sound mixing in this movie is somehow worse than Frankenstein's. The screams are way too loud, which isn't really nice to hear. We don't properly hear the townspeople when Griffin is messing around with them, which is pretty lame. And some shots don't even have sound in them, which is really odd, especially compared to Frankenstein's sound mixing, which was honestly handled better than this film. The pacing is also not really great. Some scenes are paced way too fast or too slow, specifically when Griffin causes trouble for everyone, which only lasts for a couple minutes, or when Griffin is talking to Kemp, which lasts for 5 minutes. Some of the special effects are really dated, mainly when we see Griffin invisible while wearing some clothes. But at the same time, this is 1933, so that's not a surprise. And I think that they showed those effects enough in this movie, which makes it really stand out among the Universal monster films. Anyways, that's all my issues. So let's talk about why this film is really good. First of all, the special effects, despite being a little dated, look very impressive for 1933, and I'm shocked at how decently most of the effects have aged up over time, like the snow footprints despite being the wrong shape, the floating objects, and the fire. But the most shocking effects are when Griffin turns visible. Like, I cannot express on how solid it looks even though this film is over 90 years old. So, impressive effects for over time, to be honest. I also find the Invisible Man really compelling. He's quite a menace towards society, which makes him really threatening. I mean, he crashed a train off the side of a cliff, which is really insane. He's also quite fun to follow as he causes havoc on the people around him with a lot of great dialogue. He's also really likable as well. Like, when he's talking to Flora, he explains to her his motivation to turn invisible. And it's honestly really emotional, and I was surprisingly invested in those scenes at the house and at the hospital. Plus, Claude Rains was really amazing in his performance. He knows exactly when to turn from a mad scientist to a calm person, which is a huge accomplishment that this actor has absolutely achieved. So, wonderful character and fantastic acting by Claude Rains. Flora is surprisingly really endearing as well. I say surprisingly because I didn't really like Elizabeth in Frankenstein. But the difference is that Flora has actually a real reason to worry about Griffin, and she isn't one note with where she is worrying, strong, and understandable, which makes her a really engaging character in the entire film, and Gloria Stuart put in the right tone for her character. The performances outside of Una O'Connor all work really well. Claude Rains was riveting, Gloria Stuart was investing, William Harrigan did a great job of acting scared, which feels natural to his character, Henry Travers is really engaging as Flora's dad, and Forrester Harvey put in a lot of energy into his acting. The cinematography has a bunch of diverse shots that flesh out the setting and environment. The setting is also really interesting, with the side characters' houses have a neat production design and gorgeous sets, which makes the environments feel more alive than lifeless. The story is really fun, with all the wacky shenanigans the Invisible Man does being the highlight of his film. Especially the first one, all the way from the fight of a pub to the chaos in the city. So those action scenes are some of the standout scenes among the classic Universal monster movies. Overall, despite its flaws, I still think The Invisible Man is great and well worth your time. 8.2 out of 10. Goodbye everyone, and thank you for watching. Bye.